Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored having this opportunity to briefly talk about the Cisco Security and Trust Organization and the efforts Cisco is undertaking to be a trustworthy company, delivering trustworthy products and platforms, including resilience in the communication layer. Following, I will focus on two main topics: the notion of trust and infrastructure security. Today's sophisticated cyber attacks increasingly seek to compromise the network infrastructure by attacking devices like routers and switches. By doing so, attackers can eavesdrop on sensitive communication, steal or manipulate data, and launch attacks against other parts of the network. This includes advanced persistent threats that modify the hardware or software of network devices. These threats can go unnoticed for months or even years, inflicting devastating damage. In 2016, the US CERT wrote the following in an alert. For several years now, vulnerability network devices have been the attack vector of choice and one of the most effective techniques for sophisticated hackers and advanced threat actors. In this environment, there has never been a greater need to improve network infrastructure security. We Cisco believe it is mandatory that organizations need the ability to verify that the devices in their infrastructure can be trusted. And network administrators need to have confidence that the data coming from their network is secure, uncompromised, and trustworthy. For the new digital age we live in, with interwoven systems being created and massive amounts of data being generated, a network level of trust is needed. It's important to stop and just think what we are asking for both Cisco as a company and all of us as an industry in terms of trust. In a recent article of Politico relative to 5G security, the following was mentioned. Operators have to build equipment from trustworthy suppliers, have to buy equipment from trustworthy suppliers, and that critical network components can only be procured by suppliers that provide an assurance of trustworthiness. For Cisco, trust is a long journey. It requires a long-term approach and commitment to constant improvement. Trust is fundamental to how Cisco designs, builds, delivers, and supports our products, how Cisco operates its own global enterprise and products is network infrastructure and data. And trust is fundamental to Cisco's relationships with customers and partners. A few years ago, Cisco has observed a change in customer behavior relative to purchasing product and solution. Customers are now demanding explicit reason to trust. They want to know about how we, Cisco, take trust and take security serious. They want to know how we are implementing security, data protection, privacy, and transparency in everywhere. They don't want to just implicitly believe we do it. They are challenging us to prove that we do these things. For example, customers want to know how we are managing batch logs of our access store, how we undertake vulnerability checks of our products, how we manage vulnerability disclosures. They want to understand how Cisco's security culture and how we protect our customer information. For Cisco, the notion of explicit trust starts with three fundamental principles that we have established for us as a company and communicated to the market. We started this journey more than 10 years ago when, based on customer feedback, we centralized our approach, driving security, trust, data protection, and privacy, not only into our products, but into the very fabric of how we do business. We believe a trustworthy company does not just have good security and networking products. It's a company who demonstrates a secure culture, who incorporates people, processes, technology, and policies. A trustworthy company does, for example, manage, secure, and protect customer data, follow a secure development lifecycle, meet a global certification standard, secure the supply chain, work with third parties and open source communities to improve security, and requires ongoing employee certification on security. Any discussions about trust needs to include transparency. Transparency is important, but being transparent about the right information is critical. Transparency is more than an instrument to right a wrong or own up to a mistake. While owning mistakes is important, there is a much bigger value associated with transparency when it comes to building collective resilience. In fact, it is critical to the success of the digital economy. Transparency for us provides equal and simultaneous access to security vulnerabilities information. Clearly map the flows and explain the usage of customer data, publish all government requests for customer data, deliver timely and actionable breach notification. Relative to accountability, Cisco is committed to helping customers and partners to verify and validate our trustworthiness. We admit when we make mistakes that affect the security of our customers and partners, and we work to make things right with those customers and partners. Through the work of Cisco Product Security Incident Response Team, PSIRT, we are leading the way in effectively managing vulnerabilities and delivering security in a more meaningful way, which includes ethical and predictable responses to security incidences, quick detection and remediation of product vulnerabilities, admit when mistakes are made, and work to make things right. In executing our trust principle, Cisco takes a comprehensive approach to security and trust across 6 domains. First, trusted enterprise. Protecting infrastructure and data at Cisco requires a close partnership between our IT and information security departments. InfoSec has more than 250 employees who work with IT to ensure that our products and infrastructure are secure. We secure our own global enterprise by managing a trustworthy infrastructure and policies with processes that proactively address cyber risk, reduce the attack surface, and protect our customers' data and our own. Value chain security, our second pillar. The value chain describes the end-to-end life cycle for hardware, software, and services, or in other words, from the inception of a product idea to its disposal. Having the right security in the right place at the right time throughout the value chain requires a comprehensive value chain security program. Organizations must look holistically at their value chain and consider whether each third party that is involved in their business or touches their offerings poses a risk to their security. Our value chain spans a broad spectrum of third parties, such as providers of cloud services or software, logistics services, tangible raw material, and support and repair services. Cisco has architected and deploys a capability that continuously assess, monitors, and improves the security of our value chain throughout the entire life cycle of our solutions. Trustworthy system is the third pillar. The foundation of a secure environment is an infrastructure that you can trust. Every component, every box, every piece of software. This is what we call a trustworthy system. We strive to achieve this by using the Cisco Secure Development Lifecycle, where security is a prime design consideration in this repeatable and measurable process. The next one is transparency and validation. Transparency I have addressed before, but relative to validation, I like to mention that in response to increased customer requests around the globe, we do offer our technology verification service This service will enable customers to review and test Cisco hardware and software, including source code, in a secure, dedicated environment at the Cisco site. The fourth pillar is trusted cloud we are looking at. Cisco has a specific set of security requirements that allow cloud application and implementation, and they must meet the offerings before it gets awarded a certificate to operate. We have reviewed and approved some 500 cloud providers for us within the enterprise using our global governance process called Cloud Application Service Provider Remediation. And the last pillar is data protection and privacy. Privacy is a basic human right that affects everyone, but controlling personal identifiable information, or PII, can be rather complex. That's where Cisco privacy engineering makes a difference. Engineering privacy into technology, policies, and processes allows for more control and choice over PII, and control over who uses the data, how long they use it, and for what purposes. At Cisco, privacy engineering is a core component of the development of our product, services, and solutions. To protect and respect personal data across our solution, we published the privacy data sheets and privacy data map, describing the process of personal data or personal identifiable information by specific Cisco solutions. As mentioned before, a trustworthy company does not just have good security and networking products. It's a company who demonstrates a secure culture, who incorporates people, processes, technology, and policies. Let's look at some facts and how Cisco is addressing them. From a policy perspective, each year, all Cisco employees sign the Code of Business Conduct, which obligates them to certain behaviors within the company. As an example, they are responsible and accountable for the data they handle, whether it pertains to customers, partners, or companies, or the company. From a people perspective, in building a security culture, we understood, being the security and trust organization of 650 people, we were way outnumbered by the 70,000 Cisco permanent employees that we need to worry about regarding security. So we built various programs to get as many people involved as possible and have conversation about the roles and expectations on them in relation to cybersecurity. For instance, the objective of building a community of security advocates is to embed product security knowledge and practices into each business group in order to scale the Cisco secure development lifecycle's adoption in Cisco. This community is also an internal network for security innovation and knowledge exchange. Additionally, we have 35,000 people trained on basic development and security practices as part of our Cisco Security Ninja training, a multi-tiered program, white belt to black belt. And last, technology. As earlier mentioned, we have a constant focus on infrastructure security, making sure that our product lines, so far more than 150, have fundamental security and integrity capabilities and protection built in. Let's look into the details of such a trustworthy technology system. As mentioned before, trustworthy system refers to Cisco's commitment to embed security across our networking portfolio, to enhance the security and resilience of our solution, and provide added layers of protection from today's cyber attacks that seek to compromise the integrity and trustworthiness of the network infrastructure. So why are network infrastructure devices attractive to be attacked? Well, they are central points of information exfiltrations. They could be reachable from the internet, often managed with availability rather than security in mind. Forensic tools are not as developed as on endpoints, or device OS protections and hardening might not be as mature as with endpoints. And last, software and hardware upgrades are sometimes lagging. With such a possible attack surface, we see three fundamental threats for infrastructure devices. The first is manipulation. We want to make sure that the information and communications technology we use, whether tangible or virtual, is actually free from kind of manipulation. No one has altered it in a way other than we authorized or intended it as the provider of that technology. The second threat is espionage. We want to make sure, whether it's a nation state, an individual, an enterprise, or an industrial actor, that the information that passes is stored on or is actually computed on our devices is not observed by those others than we intended to see and use it. And the third threat is disruption. Here we want to make sure that what we are relying on is not going to be disrupted by an equipment failure, by a breach of software, or any other efforts. So manipulation, espionage, disruption are the three fundamental threats posing possible impacts to Cisco relations, to tainted products, counterfeit, IP misuse, and information breaches. Since we have clarity on the infrastructure attack surface and the possible threats, how do I know the integrity of my infrastructure has not been compromised? How do I know that I'm running Cisco's genuine software and hardware? How do I know my software has not been modified before or during a boot up? To answer those questions, Cisco is using an approach called the trustworthy levels, which is a full framework that covers three main areas. At the bottom, the security culture. It includes the company values and corporate responsibility elements. For example, controls of supply chain management and the labor practices for the manufacturer of its devices. Or the secure development lifecycle, which defines the process and requirements, ensuring that security is not an afterthought, but something we build in from the very start. The second of those levels is at the top, protecting the network. It refers to the security of the customer's business with device-level and solution-level protection. These are well-understood features that traditionally protect the company's IT assets from external threats. For example, implementations such as DHCP spoofing or access lists are features that operate in that level. Cisco provides built-in features, applications, appliances, cloud, and services to protect the network. We continually enhance these network levels protection as the threat landscape changes and our solution portfolio evolves. And the last is the platform integrity in the middle. It refers to the capability that Cisco puts in its devices to protect them from being attacked or tampered with. In other words, instead of protecting the customer's network, it protects the vendor's devices itself. Following some details on the key elements of product security technology that support the platform integrity. Image signing proves that the software provided by Cisco to your device is genuine. Or secure boot verifies at the startup that the software you are installing is genuine through cryptic verification from a hardware root of trust. Counterfeit protection. The software verifies that the hardware via a cryptographic check that the hardware is genuine. Hardware Trust Anchor, for instance, it provides a tamper-proof root of trust in a Trust Anchor chip, with built-in cryptic functions to enable secure operation. And last, runtime defense is built into Cisco's operating systems to protect against malware injection while the system is running. The trustworthy system model calls for building security directly into customer networks throughout the development and operational lifecycle. It's supported by vendor processes, independent certification, and supply chain practices. As we just have seen, this also means that trustworthy product incorporates built-in security features and functions rather than adding them as an overlay to an ethical, neutral hardware and software. They also provide the foundation of a continuous improvement approach to security that anticipates and preempts new threats. Such infrastructure not only protects critical information, but more importantly, it helps avoid interruption of critical services. High level, a trustworthy system consists of three fundamental elements within process, technology, and standards. The first element is the Cisco Secure Development Lifecycle. It is a part of the Cisco product development methodology, and it is a must-do. It is a documented, repeatable, and measurable process to ensure security is built into solutions by design and that security policy is implemented consistently. It ingrains end-to-end integrity across solutions and ensures that security requirements evolve based on the threat landscape. Our secure development lifecycle has roots back to 2002 and was formally established in 2009. We have been through this process for 4,600 releases across more than 400 Cisco product families. We also report our product security metrics to the Cisco Board of Directors. We do take it very seriously with an entire organization dedicated to the proper execution and enforcement of our secure development lifecycle. The second element is the Cisco product security technology, which we just have heard of. The trustworthy system technology, among other things, run automated checks of hardware and software integrity and can shut down the boot process or alert the network administrator if a compromise is detected. As just mentioned in the previous slides, these added layers of security help ensure platform integrity by protecting against counterfeit and software modification, enable secure encrypted communication, and verify that Cisco network devices are operating as intended. And the third element are certifications. Cisco has dedicated resources throughout the certification process. We work closely with governments and standard bodies that define and rely on these certifications to increase the value and lower the cost of certification worldwide. Trustworthy products comply with industry and government security standards relevant to customers' business requirements. Public sector buyers, for example, expect compliance with standards such as Federal Information Process Standards, or FIPS, Federal Information Security Management Act, or FISMA, and International Common Criteria Standards. Very important is that trustworthy system, however, should not be confused with immunity from external attacks. Information technology customers and users have an important role to play. In maintaining the effectiveness of trustworthy system in defending off attempts to corrupt their operations. This includes timely installation of security-focused updates and patches, constant vigilance in recognizing abnormal system behaviors, and effective countermeasures against attacks. In conclusions, I have talked about the market transition from implicit to explicit trust. It's not enough to go on the word of an individual or the reputation of a vendor. Customers have to demand explicit trust. Explicit trust is trust that is earned, not assumed. In other words, our customers are demanding evidence to confirm trust, and Cisco is committed to maintaining and display strong protection of our customers' products and our company. Cybersecurity in the communications layer, are we forgetting it? I hope during today's presentation I could demonstrate how Cisco answers this question by focusing on trustworthy systems. Built-in security provides platform integrity, facilitates secure communication, guards against counterfeit products and tampering, gives customers confidence that their Cisco products are genuine and unmodified, and helps ensure that the data coming from our Cisco infrastructure can be trusted. We Cisco strive to earn your trust by being trustworthy, transparent, and accountable. And finally, in conversation with customers all over the world, it is fascinating to hear the similarities with when it comes to cybersecurity challenges. It does not matter what vertical you're in, or if you are in a public or private sector, no one seems to be immune. We are all facing a collective challenge when it comes to cybersecurity, and it is not a challenge to be solved by one organization, one product, or one solution. Our success will depend on our ability to work together to create the necessary resilience, and trust will be the magic word. Thank you.